My name is Bryan Padilla. This is my wife, Vanna Padilla. We have two children, Graham and Wells. Graham is 8 years old. Wells is 6 years old. We had just moved to Arrington, Tennessee. We were struggling in our marriage. I was struggling. We were in a dark place. We were struggling as parents. We were going to get a divorce. We talked about it several times. We were at the end of the rope.
We just saw the fall festival up at the front of our neighborhood, and we went not really knowing it was even a church gathering. So we went, we actually spoke with Matt and Tiff, had no idea that was the pastor and his wife. And then the boys had a great time. We figured out it was the church, and Bryan said, I really want to go to that church.
It took us a while though. It took us probably 3 years before we even joined. Matt was kind of nudging us, tugging at us like, hey guys, what are you doing?
It took a little bit for me to have the courage to go and step into that. And we actually thought we were rooted in Mount Juliet, but unless the Lord had called us to Franklin in that neighborhood, we would have never ended up here.
We were very lukewarm in our faith. We were, just going through the motions. And I struggled with an addiction to pornography for a long time. It started when I was probably 12 years old. And I think a lot of that leaked over into our marriage.
Before we became really grounded within the church, what I struggled the most with, Bryan had his things. So then I kind of went to myself and I started to want to control everything. If it's not going the way that I want it, I'm going to control it. I'm going to figure out what to do. I'm really good at making a spreadsheet. So I'll try to control the situation. And then I realized you're becoming your own God. That's what your problem is. And you're not surrendering at the feet of Jesus, who created you in his image. And I also had to learn, even though there were certain things that Bryan was struggling with, I'm still called through scripture to submit to his leadership. And that was incredibly hard for me to do. But once I did, those were the things that started to shift greatly in our marriage.
We were both looking to each other to fill a void in our heart that only God could fill. I think we did the Rooted course or program about 3 years in. It really, I guess, transformed us into different people. And that was all God, doing his work through that program. So from there, it was really just stepping out of our comfort zone, really stepping into the church, really getting involved, challenging ourselves. And we joined a couple of the classes Matt did. We're now serving in Next Gen. I never thought we would be serving and involved with the kids. And that's the most important thing for us, is helping them in their journey to get to know God and be saved. The boys get to grow up in a church, get to grow with a church. I didn't have that as a kid. They know where to look. They know where to find their refuge in the Lord. And they can look to the church for their resources. If they want to get plugged into the community, the high school ministry or whatever, they'll always have something and somewhere to go versus looking to the world. They will know now that they have a church that loves them, a God that loves them, and somewhere they can go and look, rather than those things of the world. So.
Taking that one step to commit to a small group or to a class or to Rooted, before you know it, you're taking another step to serve in the kids ministry like we are. So now I look back over the last year and a half and I think, how did I end up here? And all glory to the Lord, because at first I was so hesitant, but making that commitment to just one step at a time, it can change your life.